It's truly sad that an unscrupulous individual can convince a trusting person to invest their life savings in a fraud that results in them losing everything that they've worked so hard for in their lives.
The frauds we see in Utah that are the biggest problems to Utah investors are typically what we call offering frauds, and they can be of several different varieties. Probably the most notorious right now are what are called Ponzi schemes.
Whatever the story is about how money's being made, whether they're investing in real estate, whether it's trading foreign currencies, whether it's investing in antiques or concert tickets. We've seen all of those. But the hallmark of the Ponzi scheme is that you use money from new investors to pay off your old investors and, of course, put a bunch in your pocket at the same time. And there's no real income being generated by the underlying business.
Ponzi schemes always collapse eventually, and it's typically because you run out of newer investors.
If you can't bring enough new money in to pay off your old investors, it's like a house of cards. It collapses, falls in on itself, and everybody that invested is left holding the bag.
Affinity fraud is when someone you know, for example, a church member, a coworker, or a friend, takes advantage of you in an investment fraud scheme.
He was a religious man, so he says, and he really put on the, I am just so guided by the Spirit, and I know I'm here to help you, and just trust me. He just had the right words to say, and I was single, I was a widow. He knew how to, he knew what to say to me to make me think everything was going to be great. And so I did everything in my power to get the money, and I gave it to him without even getting a contract signed.
Affinity fraud is really not a type of fraud. It's more a way to market your fraud. So any kind of scam that a con artist is putting together, you use affinity fraud to find investors. I think of it more in terms of friends and family fraud. That's an easier term to recognize.
Affinity frauds are fairly common here in Utah. Usually here they're directed at members of the LDS Church, and that's because the investment solicitations come through church connections.
Because of the trusting relationships they have with other church members, unscrupulous people can take advantage of that. But affinity fraud is not confined to just the LDS Church. Any other church member can become a victim of affinity fraud for the same reasons.
We see affinity frauds in all kinds of varieties. They can be directed at ethnic groups or racial groups, other kinds of religious groups, and they're certainly not confined to Utah. We see them all over the country.
People tend to not do the due diligence and research they should do because they think, well, this is a person I know. I go to church with him. He's been my neighbor for 15 years. Whatever the circumstances are, I work with this person. I know him. He's good for it. I can trust him.
I think a lot of these scam investments are sold by people who are great salesmen, quite frankly. And they can be charming. They can use existing relationships they may have with investors. I had one defendant in a case many years ago who said, "Give me a story and I can sell it to anybody." And he was right.
He had done it enough, and I think taken enough people's money and that's how he lived. And he had a great big home. He lived a really good lifestyle.
If an individual asks you to keep the investment secret, that should send up red flags. If the individual drives a fancy car, lives in a large home, and makes a point of showing you all these things, don't necessarily believe that this individual is a sound investor. He may be a shyster that's trying to take your money.
And so when a promoter comes to you and says, hey, I've got the answer. I can make you 3% a month, 4% a month, 5% a month, whatever it is, guaranteed with little or no risk. They're lying to you. There is no such investment. Risk, reward always go together. If you want high rewards, you're taking on high risk.
I think the maxim buyer beware is appropriate. Individuals who want to invest their money have to complete their due diligence. Research the investment firm you're planning on investing your money with. Research the individual you're planning on investing your money with.
Check out what's being offered through as many independent sources as you can. Just don't take the statements or materials given to you by the person selling you the security as truth.
You know, when it comes to fraud, I think the best advice probably came from, well, it's what my grandmother used to say to me, and probably many grandmothers have said to many people through the years. If something sounds too good to be true, I wouldn't say it probably is, I would say it is too good to be true. When it comes to investing, there is no free lunch out there.
Losing the $35,000 has been devastating for me. I refinanced my condo. I live on a set income. I'm not afraid to let anybody know. Don't invest in something that you don't know is a sure thing. Don't trust the person that keeps telling you everything that you want to hear.